Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Sohaib and today I'm going to talk about aesthetic in architecture, and my final assignment is about organic architecture. What's aesthetics? Aesthetics, in a simple way, it's a branch of philosophy that deals with nature of beauty and taste, which means it's all about our emotional values. So it's all about how we define things by beautiful or not beautiful. It's we can say it's optional between a person to a person. What's the difference between beauty and aesthetics? Beauty is subjective, which means an item can be beautiful into an eye of a person, but it can be ugly into another eye of a person. So it's completely different by the perspective. The aesthetics is different. The critical part of aesthetics is about some rules, but beauty can be done by everyone. And now we're going to talk about introduction. Organic architecture is philosophy of architecture which promotes harmony between a human and nature. In a short way, it's a way that we use the nature in our designs, in our buildings, to have a communication, a connection between us and the nature. Organic architecture, it's about respecting the proportions, the surroundings, the natural materials. So overall, it's about the nature and having a function that can merge and be one with the nature in a very short way. The godfather, the inventor, the one who made it, the one who thought about it, is Frank Lloyd. And the way he did it is like he thought about organic philosophy and organic architecture in 1908, which is around 100 years ago. Although the word organic referred to something from taking from something else, he made it into architecture philosophy without limitation. So we can use it with the nature without a limit. There is not much of rules. It's all about us combining and merging with the nature. Now, organic architecture overall, it promotes harmony between man-made structure and nature. That was one of the main points. It's all about integrating buildings with surrounding. It's all about main objective is not to harm the nature. Every structure is unique and it has its own style. And one of the famous organic architecture quotes is about form follows function. And the one of the famous thing about organic architecture overall is like the outward appearance resemble inner purposes. And organic architecture not only addresses environmental concerns but also expresses individuality, which means you as a designer, you can also make your own identity on your design. The origin of organic architecture is also known as bionic architecture. The term bionic architecture is it's referred to something that has a movement. So in this design, it's all about buildings that have movement in them. You feel like the building is moving in a way of the design of the lines and everything. It's all about layout lines. Also, the most important thing about it is that the layout lines are from nature. They are borrowed from nature, so they follow the nature. The origin of organic architecture is also known as bionic architecture. The term bionic architecture is it's referred to something that has a movement. So in this design, it's all about buildings that have movement in them. You feel like the building is moving in a way of the design of the lines and everything. The most important thing about it is that the layout lines are from nature. They are borrowed from nature, so they follow the nature. The origin of organic architecture, the basic idea or the best way to say it is that the organic architecture was made by many different people from many different countries in the 20th centuries, and it's combined different styles. Now, some of the famous people and their mottos, like for example, like we said, Frank Lloyd is the one who invented it, is the one who used the organic architecture between nature and buildings and to make a harmony. He was one of the people who tried to make a relationship between nature and buildings and people. The next one in the line is Louis Sullivan. He's the one who, with the famous quote, forms follow functions. In that way, he made the principle and guidelines for organic architecture as well. Next one is Antoni Gaudi. He was one of the first architects who expressed himself into forms and function and nature and relationships. Next is Rudolf Steiner. He used the principles. He used the expression, the process of nature, the harmony, and how we can use these principles to make and design buildings. Now we're going to talk about the objectives. The objective of organic architecture is not only addresses environmental concern, but also expresses individuality, which means it's all about us as designers to express ourselves the way we want by using the nature. Each building is related with different ideas and methods and concepts like time, site, man, functions. One of the most important things is about opening up spaces in the design, providing space for natural areas, floating as well. Organic architecture is really famous, is because it was rooted and celebrated from the old history, like ancient Greece, and the organic architecture is rooted and expressed as passion of life, nature, and nature forms. So it's really famous, and we can see a lot of famous buildings, historical buildings. You feel like they are connected with the nature. Characteristics and features of organic architecture. Simplicity should be simple. Nature, we can use the nature from colors, patterns, forms, proportions. Building and sites, they are really special with each other. They have relationship. They should be like a connection between the building and sites. Proportion and scale. Ornament. Although it's not connected with the building, but something that we added like furnitures, items and paintings, they should also have a connection. Shelter, every building should have a protection. Tranquility spaces should have quiet and should be a fitting environment for human growth. Uses curves is really important in our organic architecture. We can say these are the outlines and general philosophy of organic design. Technology integration, they should be used with technology in a way that doesn't harm the surroundings and the nature. Design and process and integration. It means it should be work as a community as a whole, so it doesn't affect the future as well. Culture and historical connection, of course, we need to consider that. Materials, the materials should also be sustainable, follows the natures and all these things. And then we're gonna talk about interior and exterior places and how we can have an interactive between them. Although these are not principles, but these are like a general outlines of philosophy in organic architecture. Now we're gonna talk about, especially in a more detailed way, about Frank Lloyd. Of course, he's an American architecture, interior designer, and writer, educator, and philosopher. He was considered as the greatest architect in the American culture of all time. His principles and ideas: organic colors, simple shapes, integration with natures, strong horizontal lines, and hidden entries. These are most of the famous principles and ideas that he used. Now we're going to talk about organic architecture around the world. We can see that and we can understand that it was different from a country to a country, and the design and the approaches was completely different, but they are all follow the same idea. They are following nature. They have their own identity, their own concept. Rules regarding organic architecture, like we can say it in a very simple way. Grow out of sight, celebrate the spirit of youth, the place surprise. It's all about having the expression of your rhythm, music, of the power of dance in the area, using the inspired by nature, sustainability, healthy, unfold. It has form in it. It can be something different, something to make us consider why is it like that. The famous materials in organic architecture. It's all about using materials from nature. We can say stone, glass, wood, and bricks and concrete. These are some of the most famous, as well as using the colors from nature. Here it's all about general explanation about these materials and why they are good. The advantages of organic architecture: it's like introducing nature through trees and open spaces. It looks great. Create eco-friendly buildings which provide improved indoor air quality. It also eliminate the possible causes of CBS, which is this in building sickness. Aesthetics philosophy behind the style. We can understand that Frank Lloyd, his main concept, his main approach, that we follow the nature. So we can use the elements of the nature, open spaces. We can have the main concept, the quality of aesthetics and the functions that aesthetics trying to consider. Frank Lloyd already talked about it, which is in a way that it's a way that we are using the nature and the human intelligence to create forms that they are from the nature and the nature itself. In that way, it will define a connection between interior and exterior, which means buildings and nature, as well as philosophy. It means responding to the ongoing challenge of society. So the organic architecture can be used in a way where it can be something that stays connected with the nature. Why this style is beautiful. The most important about it is that the organic architecture is something from the starting of the mankind. Everything is taken and having an origin for it, from tools and everything. Now the beauty of organic architecture is something that is not limited by the rules these days, and it also follows the nature. So it's really beautiful for that for that approach. It's also something that's not just for architects, it's for other things like furnitures, tools, products, and all these things. Some famous projects and works and why they are beautiful. Al Wakara Stadium. It's really beautiful. It's in a way the design, the approach, the lines has very unique. In my opinion, I think it's beautiful because it's attractive. Contrast grass. It is something unique, something you feel like it's integrated. You feel like it's from the nature. In my opinion, it's unique, strange. It's also attractive in a way that brings the eyes. Falling water. Falling water. It's something that you feel like it follows the function itself. It's something in the nature. In the nature, you feel like it's hidden. In my opinion, I can say it's unique, hidden, surprising, and also attractive in a way. Next, I'm gonna talk about the gherkin. The gherkin, it's something you feel like a shape from the nature. It's really surprising, in my opinion, really beautiful. Of course, maybe the area and the sounds are not nature at all, but you feel like it is following that idea. Next, the foundation. As we can see, it really follows its name. In my opinion, it's really strange. It's also unique. It's attractive in a way, and it really follows its name. The shape of the building. It's like a foundation. It's something huge. London Aquatic Center. As we can see, it's really the lines, the principles, and all the ideas about organic architecture are there. In my opinion, it is really beautiful, attractive, and surprising because the nature around it, the view, and the feeling about it. Next is the Shell Bar by AR Tech Architects in Japan. It feels like it's something that it's hidden, it's unique, it's beautiful, it's attractive in the nature. The Lotus Temple in India, as you can see, and as you can understand, it's using the nature, it's elements from the nature, the lines, the principles, the ideas. It's unique. It's something complex. It's attractive. It's used the landmark. It's also having the nature as its own reference. Next is Learning Hub at Nanyang Technological University. It's really famous. You can feel like it's something in the nature. It's something hidden. It's using the nature, the principle, the basic ideas. Of course, the surroundings are not nature. Now, as a conclusion, the organic architecture is something that shows the comfort, the surroundings, usage of natures, the lines. The building seems to be alive. The building seems to be respect the nature. It also feels connected. It's also sustainable, and the concerns about it is less compared to the other architectural style. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.